Behind the shimmering image of golden ages, a truth that never really changed was always hidden. Wealth was never truly safe in any era. Whether it was the peak periods of empires, the times when revolutions turned everything upside down, or the supposedly calm years between wars, a similar reality held true in every age of history. From the palaces of Babylon to the magnificent villas of Rome, the wealthy class was always playing a completely different game that most people never noticed. For them, money, whether it appeared as a gold coin, grain, or a land title, was not merely savings. It was also a matter of power, security, and survival. While the public continued to live by trusting the system, the elite class learned much earlier how to bypass the system and how to protect itself from the system's risks. That is why the real question is not how they gained wealth, but how they preserved that wealth, even when the world was sliding toward collapse. To understand this, we must return to older periods when wealth was not limited to bank accounts. In those ages, wealth meant controlling resources that most people could not reach. 4,000 years before Christ in Mesopotamia, it was well understood that wealth was not merely about locking silver away in a chest. Merchants and rulers kept wealth under constant protection by circulating it through temple loans, lands, and vast trade networks. Temples were not only places of worship, they functioned like the economic centers of the ancient world. Interfering with a temple's assets meant offending the gods, so this structure provided political immunity. In Egypt, wealth was protected less in coins and more in fertile lands stretching along the Nile, large grain storehouses, and the gold mines of Nubia. Since it was not possible to seize these assets without destabilizing the state structure, the ruling class created an early entrustment system by dedicating lands to temples. In this way, wealth could be transferred from generation to generation. In ancient Egypt, owning vast lands made risks like inflation or the loss of currency value almost insignificant, because land produced food, and food was the most reliable value of the era. In the classical Greek period, the strategy was more mobile. Merchants in Athens, Corinth, and the Aegean Islands spread their wealth across different city-states to protect themselves against the risks of coups or wars. Even if one city collapsed, they could sustain their wealth elsewhere. This approach can be seen as an early version of today's offshore system. In Rome, the matter was taken to a completely different level. Senators, generals, and the equites class had learned through experience that political fluctuations could wipe out wealth instantly. For this reason, they did not keep their wealth only in coins. They bought land in different provinces, invested in tax collection enterprises, lent money to foreign kings, and ensured that repayment was backed by Roman military power. By moving wealth beyond Rome's direct control, they protected themselves against the risk of confiscation at home. At times, they even transferred gold, jewels, and artworks to places beyond the reach of political rivals. Today, this could be described not only as portfolio diversification, but also as jurisdictional diversification. As the Western Roman state order was shaken while it collapsed in the 4th and 5th centuries AD, elite families pulled their wealth out of public spheres and redirected it toward private and hidden assets. Instead of lending to the imperial treasury, they invested in fortified estates, private forces, and direct trade with barbarian tribes. When Rome fell, the state treasury was empty, yet the richest families still held control over land, food production, and manpower. The state disappeared, but wealth survived. In the Middle Ages, the church became both a bank and a legal shield for wealth. While kings seized assets to fund wars, properties donated to the church were considered almost untouchable. Thus, wealth could be safely held in monasteries and retrieved when needed. Bankers such as the Medici family in Florence moved wealth across borders with international bills of exchange, providing security without the need to carry gold. In the Islamic world, the hawala system made it possible to transfer wealth without moving physical money, making it extremely difficult for rulers to seize it. Caravan trade, real estate, and long-term monopolies continued to generate income even during political turbulence. In this way, part of wealth could remain outside the system's direct gaze. In the early modern period, major merchant families of Venice, Amsterdam, and London tied their wealth to the needs of the state, while also gaining political leverage. Lending to the state, providing ships for war, and extending credit in exchange for privileges turned wealth into a political shield. While states crushed ordinary people under heavy taxes, the best-connected merchants expanded their wealth in every crisis. All these examples show that protecting wealth rests on two fundamental elements: control and distance. Control means owning assets that keep producing value even when political conditions change. Distance means distributing those assets across different systems, legal orders, and even different forms of money. The elites of the ancient world understood very well that wealth held within the official system was always at risk. Today we live in a digital age. Governments can freeze accounts with a single keystroke. Currencies can lose value overnight. Stock markets can crash within a week, and inflation can quietly erode your purchasing power. The elites of the past did not entrust their wealth to the state. Neither should you. The tools may have changed: international diversification, precious metals, alternative assets, private holdings, but the principle remains the same. History may not repeat itself exactly, but similar traps return again and again. People assume stability is permanent, until the day they realize it isn't. True financial freedom is not simply having wealth, but ensuring that wealth stays standing through storms. The system favors those who know how to work around it. Those who don't realize too late that the wealth they believed was safe is wealth they never truly controlled. If this gave you a new perspective, subscribe. Because history holds the keys to understanding today, if you know where to look.